Hello everybody, here we are again. Checks and dots. You can't really see Janet's checks, but...
I can see them, you can see them. I hope it doesn't do, you know how they always say never wear things that reverberate on television?
It
moves. In fact, we would advise our clients never wear checks on television.
And look at us.
Uh-huh.
But
and dots.
Dots you can wear.
You're perfect.
I'm a kind of a dot girl. I am a dot girl.
You are dotty.
But I'm dot girl for sure. So what a week, huh?
Woof.
What a week for news. And honestly, you and I are such news junkies. And I think most of our fans are too, from the comments that you were getting all week.
Well, plus these two news stories are so huge, it's hard to
believable.
Not
this is what we woke up to on Monday morning, and this was following the royal wedding of the week, following this.
Yeah.
And we were glued.
And both
although I slept through the Osama story.
Well, you sleep. I'm shocked you didn't sleep through the royal wedding.
No.
No,
but I did TiVo the royal wedding,
yeah,
so I didn't
just
watch
in case,
it live.
Just in case. But they were both fantastically upbeat stories in a totally opposite ways. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's very hard, and everyone's talking about how can you be upbeat about the death of someone, but he was a terrorist and a horrible man.
He was a murderer.
So.
But I think that we have to pause and sort of remember that this was murder. Murder for murder. And I'm glad, in a way,
Hell yeah.
I know,
bye-bye.
It's a hell yeah, but it's still a momentous kind of thing.
Yes, but it still caused people to celebrate. It was a very unusual
Spontaneously.
thing.
And what's interesting is a lot of the celebrating was done by people who are so young that they don't even remember 2001.
Yeah, I know.
September 11th.
They may remember it, but they certainly were very
young. Well, they
young
were very young.
I
mean, these were college kids.
Yeah.
So what,
and it was
10 years
kind of
ago?
cool how the college generation came out and said, this is what we do. We're in college. This is what we do. We go out and we celebrate this kind of thing in the middle of the night. This is kind of our raison
how did
d'etre.
they find out about it?
Tweet.
Which is so fascinating, how things have changed. And so that led us to where were you when? And
how did you find it out?
And how much things have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
So we started with JFK, because that's one of my earlier recollections.
And what was where were you when?
I was 17, unfortunately, but I was 17. I was in college, my freshman year at college, in Boston, and I was coming out of an English class, and the news was sort of bouncing down the hallway. And I had never experienced death of somebody that I cared about, let alone, I wasn't close to the president, but cared about the president. Everybody did. Yeah. Most of us did anyway. And I honestly think I went into shock. I went to church for a couple of days, actually.
Really?
But I also remember, in terms of technology, I remember that when I went back to the dorm, we were all gathered in the common room. We were all gathered around a small black and white television. There must have been 100 girls, because I lived in an all-girl dorm, gathered around a little black and white TV, and that's how we got our information. And I remember Walter Cronkite crying, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The entire weekend, or the entire series of events that happened. Where were you?
I was in second grade, so I was somewhat clueless. I'm no longer quite as
a lot has changed.
No, come on, you're supposed to say that.
Yeah,
I know I did. And obviously they let us go early. Must have happened around lunchtime.
Yeah, I was going to say late morning.
Correctly. And I remember walking into my house, and there was my mother on the phone, and it was the first time I'd ever seen my mother cry. So right off the bat, I knew that this is huge. Then my father came home early. And I remember, and it's funny what you remember, but I remember it was the first time in my life that we were allowed to eat dinner in front of the television set, because that just was not done. And
for a second grader, that would probably be important.
That's seared in my memory. Eating dinner in front of the newscast, Huntley and Brinkley.
Of course.
Of course.
Glued every night. But although I was a Cronkite fan.
Yeah. But my dad watched Huntley and Brinkley, and that's what we were watching.
So then let's move along. So Bobby and Martin, the Bobby Kennedy and the Martin Luther King, I was actually overseas for that.
You were in Paris.
I was working for CBS. I was in Paris, and I actually missed both of them. But I remember with the Bobby Kennedy in particular, I was for Paris, living in Paris and working in Paris. But for the first time, I was going to London to visit friends. There I was so close, and I had never been to London. And I went to London to visit, I think, one of our cameramen, and he was going to show me around London, he and his family. And I was so blown away that I needed to be surrounded by Americans. And so I got back on the plane and went back to Paris to be in the newsroom with a bunch of Americans.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't deal with it. I needed to be closer. So, where were you for
that was again. I was in like junior high school, and the only memory I have of that, both of those, is my teachers crying. I had the only black teacher in my junior high school, and so when Martin Luther King died, he was really moved by it and could barely speak to the class. And then I had a female teacher when Bobby Kennedy died, who broke down in the middle of the classroom. And those are, these are the memories you have.
Little kids.
For a young person, that's kind of what. And then I remember, and you'll tell me your thing, the Men on the Moon landing, which was really intense for me because I was in summer camp, and there must have been a black and white television set this size. And you know how you talked about all your girls at the common, this was all of the camp, 300 girls around a tiny little TV this big, one step for mankind, everyone cheering. I mean, who could forget
now,
that?
I get goosebumps when I think about it, but I was in a control room.
So cool.
And two things happened.
What time? That was the night. It was nighttime, wasn't it?
You know what? I can't tell you.
I think it was nighttime because I have a memory of it being at night.
I was in the control room for maybe 36 hours straight. I mean, they brought food in, and we got to take a little nap.
That's exciting.
But it was the Chappaquiddick event with Ted Kennedy, and then I can't remember which came first, but I believe Chappaquiddick came first, followed very closely by Men Landing on the Moon. And I was in this control room thinking, oh my God, I'm in the middle of these two momentous, well, especially the landing on the moon, momentous events, and here I am in a newsroom. I mean, in a control room.
Amazing.
It was
fantastic.
This was
also Paris?
Experience. No, I was back in New York.
Oh,
I was working, and I was actually working in live television. So those were the days when everything wasn't live.
And those were the days when you were like awake at night.
I made it past 10 o'clock. Well, they probably had to do this a lot to keep me up.
Exactly.
So we'll keep going. Okay, Elvis. That was 1977.
I don't remember. And you'll find a lot of that about to come up. I don't remember where I was.
When the drugs kicked in?
Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, my parents are no longer with us, so I guess you could mention that.
We all know.
But, no, I don't remember, Elvis. That was 1997?
1977.
77?
Yeah, 77.
Oh.
1977.
Not
1997, honey.
No, I have no idea.
John Lennon's death?
That I remember distinctly because I was working at 4 o'clock in the morning in Morning Drive Radio. And I had to get up, as you well know, at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
And that just happened.
And it had just happened. Yeah. And I woke up and that was a stunner for me. Because that was our youth. You know, it's one thing when you're young and your president dies, but when the Beatles die and you're in your 20s.
And they are your
they're
heroes.
my peak,
of course,
right?
They're your heroes.
That was a stunner. And the stunning ones are always the ones that went before their time. It was something about Osama, as stunning as it was,
You knew it was inevitable.
It was coming. He was due. But John Lennon, JFK,
out of the blue.
Diana, I mean, these were people, you know. What? Huh?
What?
It's not possible.
Krista McAuliffe.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was.
I remember exactly where I was.
But I think I might have been at work, and it was on television, and we were just watching it, and nobody really knew what was going on, including our own parents.
I was on my way to lunch, and I remember actually watching it live. Yeah. Because in the TV, sort of in the lobby of the hotel that I was going to meet somebody for lunch, carried the liftoff. And I'm standing there watching it, and I'm like, all of a sudden it just blew up.
Did you know it though? I just thought it went behind a cloud.
No, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps from it right now.
How about the OJ verdict?
You know what? I don't remember where I was for that.
I remember
that's sad.
I was eating lunch with a client of ours for British Airways. And someone came running out and said they're about to give the verdict in the OJ trial. We went running back into the back room because we were at the Colonnade Hotel, which was also a client, so they let us in the back room. Again, little TV set, 100 people gathered around it, not guilty, stunning silence, except for one poor woman who obviously was an OJ fan, who yelped for joy and looked around and went, whoa!
Did everybody smack her after that?
Well, everyone
Yeah.
just stared at her. That it was a very intense moment because you had 99 quiet people and one very, very happy person.
What about when JFK Jr.'s by? We were actually together for that.
We were
one.
together. We
On
were
the Cape.
You were at my house on the
Right,
Cape.
right.
And we were driving around, going to the beach or something, and we heard it on the radio.
And
And we
we
had to drive right back to the house to watch it on television.
Immediately. And
Stunning.
I'm still stunned by that
Yeah,
that
that's
happened. I'm still
stunner,
absolutely stunned by that. Yeah, some interesting ones though. Princess
And how about-
Di,
yeah,
Princess Di.
That was a tough one again for someone like you who does sleep a lot, because that happened well overnight.
Yeah, I miss a lot of things.
You wake up to them though, but that was I just think I was watching
usually
TV.
you'll call me. Or, yeah.
But at 2:00 in the morning, I think is when I found out, and I wasn't going to call you. But that was one of those where I felt like I was in a dream. I remember
it
it
was
came
hard to
over and I
believe.
thought, that's not possible. I'm just dreaming this. And I kind of dozed back off and woke up and realized that was no dream. Holy Toledo. That one also. I walked around in a daze. Like 9/11, you were in a daze. Diana, I was in a daze.
Even
You,
JFK
you
Jr.
were-
I
you were in
loved
a
him.
daze.
Well, I had met JFK Jr.
Oh, I
And
remember
it was
that.
the cutest little story.
Tell that story. That's
Great
adorable.
story. We were doing an event, probably one of our very first events
Yeah.
ever.
Opening of the
in
Charles
Boston,
Hotel.
opening of the Kennedy Park.
Oh, yeah,
So the
Charles.
whole family came. The whole family was
Jackie.
still alive
Jackie
at
was
that
there,
point.
Carol.
And I think we're almost out of time, but I'm gonna. No, we have plenty of time. Says Beth. But we were in charge, and I was there with my notebook because I'm doing things. I'm looking somewhat official, and he comes drop dead gorgeous. His tie a little askew. Excuse me, miss, are you with the event? I'm like, yes, I am. May I help you with something, John? You gorgeous hunk of man. He said, yes, my car has just been towed. So I'm like, oh, well, we're surrounded by police. I mean, there were all sorts of police, there. Not only local Cambridge police, but every jurisdiction. I'll just get somebody to help you and get your car. No, I really don't want to do that. Would you mind driving me to the tow lot to get my car? So I get in my little...
Like you would ever say no?
In those days, my Datsun.
Your Datsun, I remember that
My little
car.
green
I remember
Datsun.
that Datsun.
He had 2 different color socks on. He was like a typical college kid. No cash. The Kennedys never carried
Of
cash.
course not.
Ever. And so he asked to borrow... So I wrote him out a... I gave him
money.
cash. He wrote me a check, which
For
I never...
$40.
$40.
I remember
Never
that.
cashed it.
Framed it.
Framed it. It's in my safety deposit
And I don't
box.
have to tell you that, no, the ink, remember, it dissolved.
Yes, but but I had it restored.
Oh, you did? You had it
yes,
restored? Because I
restored.
figured that was an old Kennedy trick, like vanishing ink on every check.
They never had money. They never had cash.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. And you got into the paper on that story.
Yes, very cute.
Oh, it was all
Very
good times,
cute,
good
my
times.
young man.
Yeah.
Very, big loss, really sad.
Yes, oh,
You wonder
God.
what could have been. And we got so much feedback from that.
Oh yeah, I wanted to read a couple.
Our boomer
if we have-
minds
Of
out
course,
there.
my eye, between my memory and my eye problems. Let's just see. When OJ was being chased, I was at a pizza party. This is Faith Matthews. Hi, Faith. With my youngest son and his school friends, who were brother and sister with their mother. Kids were running around. See, this is hard. It's hard.
Well, just say whom we heard from, really.
Well, we heard from Donna Washburn about the OJ trial. Faith again wrote us. Candy
a lot of you are
Arnold,
weighing in. That's so great. Thank you.
Barbara Lyons. A lot of people, and all of them interesting, and I apologize that I don't have time to read everything, but obviously based on what we're reading on our website, and make sure to go on our website at facebook.com, facebook.com/the Boomer Broads. These are part of our memory DNA.
Yes.
For everybody.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it's just something, it's almost, you forget names, you forget friends, you forget faces, but you don't forget where you were when these types of events happen in your life. It's almost your time.
And honestly, I think this will be added to this, this and the royal wedding will be added to our list.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. That's great. We should also say congratulations to our psychic who was right on with your sister and your brother.
Yes,
Your
for those who've been
sister-in-law.
following my brother and his kidney transplant from my sister-in-law, which is really so exciting. There was a little bump in the road.
As our psychic predicted.
She said it was going to happen. So did my sister-in-law psychic.
Very interesting.
So we've pushed it about a month. Everything's going to be fine, but just wanted to let you know the bump has occurred.
And keep those cards and letters coming, everybody. We're going to do pets next week, are we?
We are.
We're probably going to do pets.
You never know with us what might happen. Someone else may get killed or something. We'll have to talk about that.
Have a great week.
Bye.